When I was a teenager filled with hope and cholesterol, one of my first jobs was working in Poundland. And outside of having to answer the question, is this really a pound? 100 times a day, it also gave me access to a bunch of movies I could only find in Poundland. On the plus side, they only cost £1 to buy, take home and enjoy. On the downside, one of those movies was a little known horror flick titled Jigsaw. Now, this thing was an indie title sold in Poundland, but I was usually sucked in by the covers of these obscure films. Take a look at this. Holy shit. We got an ugly ass fleshy skull with a metal jaw, a camera for an eye, and a buzzsaw for a hand. It's like if CGI could vomit. Why are there blinds in the background? And Obi-Wan Kenobi's cloak? This shambles of a Photoshop got my attention. So I bought it, gave it a view, and immediately realised I'd wasted my money. Let me explain. This is the DVD cover, and this is what it looks like in the final product. And people complain that McDonald's burgers never look as good as the ads. I mean, it looks absolutely nothing like it. The creators should be paying me £1 to attempt watching it. Jigsaw has such blatant false advertisement that even the woman in the poster doesn't appear in the movie. I looked it up, she's Tanya Dempsey, and she ain't on the cast list. Nothing on this poster represents what's in the film. Look, I'm not saying I'm going to sue, I'm just saying I have a case.
I'm gonna hand out pieces of this dummy to 5 lucky students. Those 5 will then take the bits home with them, decorate them however they see fit. And then we'll reassemble all 5 parts into one whole. A jigsaw man, if you will.
Here's the basic premise. A group of art students are given an assignment to make a mannequin, and each must bring a piece of it styled in their way of choice. They put it together while having drinks at a bar. If you want an idea of how much the pacing and plot development is butchered, I just described to you the first 45 minutes. Over 2/3 of the movie are just setting up the plot, so the narrative is a mess. What about the characters? None of the characters are layered. They're typical one-note stereotypes that often make choices or have dialogue that just feels odd. A lot of the time I struggled to really grasp who they were, but by the end it was clear they're all awful. In short, the women are rather dry and boring, and the men are flat out despicable. The guys are constantly pressuring the girls into doing alcohol, drugs, or manipulating them into sex. All the women are portrayed as promiscuous, or rather, they're not, but all the men see them as sexual challenges to conquer. It's so uncomfortable. I don't think there's a single male character that's redeemable. The whole film is overly sexualized towards these women. It just has a really seedy feel. The main guy is incredibly obnoxious and creepy. He's just a ball of constant snarky sarcasm, and he is insufferable throughout. His face is also constantly stretched into a smile that only sexual predators have.
Do you have to have something to say about everything?
I could do my jokes as cave paintings for you, but I think they would lose something in translation.
You're gonna be losing something in the translation in a minute.
What does that mean?
Agreed.
You duking her.
No. No, we're just friends.
Friends? What the hell does that mean?
This guy's a fucking tool. In the end, regardless of gender, they all come across as incompetent idiots, since they all get outwitted and overpowered by a barely held together mannequin.
What the fuck?
Now, let's talk about the dollar store mannequin with half a charity shop glued to it. It's pathetic, just look at it. It looks like a light breeze would shatter it apart. It also just doesn't do much. It spends more time being a voyeur to this woman than it does killing. Why was it programmed to be a pervert?
You wouldn't turn your back on me for some stupid beer. Would you, Jiggy?
This is fucking shameless. The film is just shy of 75 minutes long. Wanna know what time this thing decides to go in its wee tantrum? 51 minutes. I'm not joking. You have to wade through an ice age of utterly tedious banter to get what you came for, and then it's done in about 20 minutes. I actually counted the screen time this thing moving has, and this is the final tally. What a joke. I feel scammed. A better DVD cover would be this. How does it come alive? I have no fucking clue. There's no rhyme or reason. One scene, it's an inanimate, ugly art project, and out of nowhere it just kills this guy. Guess it's a killer mannequin now. I'm not even exaggerating, it happens that fast, and never explains it. The last we see of it, it's tied to a stake and burning, and then the next.
Surprise, motherfucker!
The thing isn't even burned. Wasn't its face melted from the fire? It's so confusing. Nonsensical can barely describe the events that transpire after the 50-minute mark.
But after she did it, and I saw it, I mean, what it did to her, I couldn't do it.
The movie comes across as a stupid college experiment rather than a full-blown production. There's no consistent style or tone, and there's just these moments that stick out like a sore thumb. There's a sequence where this old man dies and the colour slowly drains from the movie while a country song blares out in full. I appreciate the effort to inject some style into the proceedings, but it comes off like the director just really liked this song, so decided to do a spontaneous music video, and it doesn't match anything else in the movie. It's not like Natural Born Killers, where the crazy style was placed throughout, it's just this one wee moment. When it has a flashback, it shows everything in a blue filter.
But why?
You can probably guess, but the film fails at any attempts at suspense or atmosphere. It's too poorly constructed to have any hope in hell of managing it. The music is actually okay, it's just basic synth work, but gets the job done. And the rest is painfully mediocre rock and roller metal. What? Where the hell did the movie go? I didn't edit that, that's just how the movie is cut. A lot of the movie is like this, it just jumps around without thought. Remember back in the day when you'd tape stuff off the TV on a blank VHS? Then when you watched it another time, you'd find somebody had taped over it and suddenly Indiana Jones would jump cut to Freddy's Nightmare or something? It's the same feeling here. It's this weird mishmash of jump cutting scenes short, but also holding on to other scenes for far too long. For instance, when we first arrive at this bar, it feels the need to show us each person at the bar taking a drink. They're not people with any lines or anything, it just feels the need to show us this. This fat guy even gets 3 shots of him taking a swig. All they do is froth at the mouth and ogle this Southern Belle at the bar for quote-unquote comedy. It's body humour. I feel like any minute there's gonna be a wah 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 sound effect. None of the attempts at comedy ever land. It's lowbrow and has no concept of timing. This whole sexy bar dance scene goes on for around 6 minutes. The whole concept of pacing just doesn't exist. When the mannequin is killing this dude, it saws him against a fence for what seems like an eternity while he bounces off it like a trampoline. I'm not a doctor, but isn't getting a spinning jigsaw constantly to the face and torso sore? He sounds like someone's gently flicking his nutsack in a low-rent porno. I've made more noise stubbing my toe off a door frame. The film clearly had the budget of a loaf of bread, so the fact all the acting is terrible shouldn't come as a surprise. It honestly feels like they grabbed random people off the street and said, "Hey, wanna be in a movie?" Then just used the first take.
Okay, we're gonna sneak out the back door and go around the side and get the car.
No, I can't, I'm afraid.
Look, that's where he is. You can see for yourself. There's no way he can get us before we go around and get the car.
No, I can't. I won't. You go ahead and get help.
I'm not gonna leave you, Val.
No, I can't go. Seriously, I won't go.
The climax takes this wild turn, and consistency with character motivations goes down the toilet when the teacher goes crazy and pretty much out of nowhere becomes a villain. He's not even been through anything that traumatic, so it leaves you kinda scratching your head. He hears a woman getting killed in a truck, then he watches the mannequin walk away from quite a distance. That's enough to send him over the edge and take this equally out of nowhere catatonic girl hostage. And remember, all this happens in like the last 15 minutes. Mr. Creepy from the beginning has a dramatic character shift too before biting the dust, where suddenly he's the hero character and acts like a genuine human for the first time. It's very false. It's basically an attempt to make his death have more of an impact, but it doesn't land, because we've known him as Denny from The Room for the entire film. In order to give you a taste of just how awkward this film is, I'm just going to play the ending in full. Full spoilers, but this has to be seen to be believed. For context, there is no reason given why the mannequin decided to do that. It just jump cuts to credits, and we're left to assume it then had its way with a poor woman tied to the table. I always look at my videos as recommendations rather than outright reviews. I try to say who would enjoy the film even if I don't personally for the reasons I state. Evil Aliens I compared to a terrible softcore porno, but I recommended it for people who like brash, vulgar splatter flicks. Even I Spit on Your Grave, which I found repulsive, I still make a point to say it's an option if you're looking for a film that's unbearably nasty. Unless you're one of those sadomasochists who enjoys seeking out really bad films, I don't know who'd enjoy this. It's that terrible. Jigsaw is bottom of the barrel bargain bin garbage. If you want an example of how not to make a movie, this is a prime choice.
He knows at every move before you make it. It's like looking in the mirror and trying to fake yourself out. It's